Probably get my camera. I just realized that.
Oh, you're fine. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good. How about yourself?
You know, I've got a potential bruised tailbone for 6 months, so not looking forward to that.
God damn, how'd you pull that off?
No idea. Nobody actually knows what the pain is from, so I'm kind of sitting here, or standing here, or lying here with extreme pain. The actual true pain in the ass. Chat. This is Totoro's Bang Bus. You remember him. Chris has been doing the dice now. How many years has it been now? 4?
I think it's been 4, yeah.
4 years? This is the 4th year that he has made dice for us. And we've already given away a couple of sets, but...
Oh, awesome.
You know,
Nice.
Better late than never to talk about them and just sort of give people an actual clearer view. Hopefully this is a clear enough view, but it'll do its best with this camera. But yeah, I think it only makes sense that we bring you on and have you, you know, be a part of this, because you have been a part of this for a very long time and have done exceptional work every year.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a cool opportunity to do. When I was approached, Marie approached me with it when we have a fellow Discord together, and she's like, "Hey, you make dice. You want to make them for my buddy?" I was like, "Yeah, totally." And then when she explained to me what it was about, I was like, "Yeah, 100%. Like, we're doing this. Like, yeah, absolutely."
And I wish I could do more. But I can't, because I gotta fix my ass now.
Yeah,
and my wallet. Everything near the gluteus maximus needs repair, apparently. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm very happy that people are really excited for the dice sets every year, and like, it's like you do a very good job. I actually, when I saw the pictures, I'm like, oh, these look great. And then when I got the dice in person, this is not to sell it out for people to donate, but when I got them in person, like, these are actually, I want to say, the prettiest so far. Like, you've done well every year, but oh wait, hold on, cat flash. Like, you've done well every year, but I feel like with the ideas, because I think the ideas this year were a little more, I don't want to say ambitious, but I think you kind of had to play with more of the color combinations than sort of having more freedom with it. So, like, a couple of them are going to look more similar and stuff like that, but I think you really did define them well between each set. Which I guess
I think so. I liked the prompts that you gave me this year, and there was a couple that I was trying to do something different with, but I just couldn't get them to turn out very well. Like, I was trying to add, like, multiple colors, and it just had a point. I was like, I want to make these so they look good, and I can do what I want with the coloring on the numbers as well to get away with some of it. So I don't need to have all the colors in the dice. I can make up whatever I feel I'm lacking with the coloring. So props to you for the prompts. I really, it was a fun little challenge here going through and trying to nail everything there. And I was really, really happy with how the dice turned out this time. It's tough taking photos of them because, like, I love natural lighting, and I think that gives the best idea of it, but it's always so hard to capture truly some of the changes or the sparkles in them until you have them, like, directly in your hand. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the pictures definitely get the idea across that they're high quality, and then once you see them on this camera here, I hope this lighting, I mean, my lighting's not that much better, because I have no lighting. I have a port light, or a port window, and it's 7:30 p.m. So you're getting what you see, but hopefully it's crisp enough nonetheless. But yeah, no, let's just start pulling these out. Let's go through we're just gonna go in order from the order we've been giving them away
That works.
To the end one, which people are going to be playing the dice is right on. Let's start with the Blood-like Cream. First of all, this set name is beyond metal. How did you think up Blood-like Cream?
There is a band called Red Fang, and they are they're from the Portland, Oregon area, and that's one of their songs is Blood-like Cream, and it's one of my favorite songs that they've put out. And so as I was kind of doing this set, I liked the idea of doing a red and a pink and a black and trying to get them to mix and look almost like they flow together. And so, yeah, I was just like, Blood Like Cream, here we go. We're going to put it down there. And these dice in particular, this set that I have, mold I guess I should go with, the 1 and the 7 look very, very similar. And so all these sets have been inked with those one being a different color to help offset that confusion potentially. Yeah, so... But yeah, I was really happy with how these guys turned out. I loved how the kind of the white milkiness through it all mixes with the red and the pink. And overall, yeah, it was... I have another set. I poured two, and one of them has gray ink instead of pink ink, and I think the pink is the better choice when I look at it. So,
I think because I'm a big fan of marble design and marble patterns, and this is like these are cool. Like it kind of reminds me of the Nimbus set that you did last year, but it just has. I feel like it's because of the coloring that you did. It kind of comes out to being more. Like I could show it on my better camera here. Like it just feels like the marbleness of it actually shines through more with the pink, and it just contrasts really well with the letter, with the numbering and everything like that. So like the pink lettering on the pink background doesn't actually make it impossible to see. Like it's very clearly defined and has definition. So that's what clearly defined means. But yeah, Gamma ones.
Oh, go for it.
No, go for it.
Thanks. No. I would say this. I really like doing this type of technique because you're mixing different types of additives. So it's basically you take a resin, there's two types of different kind of inks you could mix. There's an alcohol ink, and then there's a resin ink that you can mix in. And so if you take the two separate, and then you kind of wait till they get a little bit. If you never messed with resin before, it heats up. It gets really hot if you let it sit, and it gets really tacky. And so you let it get just before it hits that unworkable stage, and then you just kind of pour and mix them in there, swirl them up, and you get that kind of distinct break in the colors and the style and the different, textures would be. I don't really know the proper term, but yeah, it's not all just one type of ink that's added here. It's two separate types of ink to get that kind of definition and separation of color.
They're actually really pretty. I don't want to give this to Gamma. Can I take back the giveaway?
I can give you the gray set if you want. I'll send them up to
you. Keep them because this is a cool design. I like this a lot. So these ones were already given away. These were given away at the beginning of September. The next set I'm going to show you, which actually might be my second favorite set this year, is the Mr. Mime set. These looked super pretty in the picture. These look amazing in person. I really do believe my camera still doesn't give justice to how beautiful these are. But how did you make it's cloudy. It looks like little clouds inside the dice, and it's such a great gradient of purple. How did you do this?
So I bought some newer ink. And so the kind of thought process on these was I wanted to make sure I had a good separation of the pink and the purple. But if you're going to do just straight pink, it's going to be absolutely see-through. And I added a little bit of white to it and mixed it in there to give it a little bit more opaque. Is that where it blocks out color? I'm bad with
opaque. Yeah.
I wanted to make a little bit more opaque by doing that, and same process. I waited till it kind of got to the part where they weren't going to be, they wouldn't mixed when I poured, so I just let it sit. I poured the purple first, and then did the pink on top of it, because I was afraid if I went the other way around that the purple would just eat all the pink up and just kind of overtake it. And yeah, they turned out that way, and then I originally wanted to try to maybe mix in some gray with these to go with the Mr. Mime, but I was like, I'll do it as this is one of the sets where, this and the Dunce Bars, where I was like, I'm going to do it as the numbers to give it that extra Mr. Mime kind of color pattern, not do it all in the dice. I think it's better to just do two colors and then accentuate it with the coloring on the dice itself, so.
Yeah, I mean, I picked two Pokemon this year who were made in the first two generations, so they've got like, what, 2 or 3 colors to their entire name and design. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of just ends up being like, luckily, I mean, the nice thing about them being older generation Pokemon is they're not complex, right? Mr. Mime is just a pink mime. That's what Mr. Mime is. But I kind of, I don't know if you were doing this on purpose, but I kind of like this. It feels kind of psychic in theme with the sparkles and everything like that. And it looks it looks just very, very pretty. Like I didn't think I liked purple until I saw these dice. I'm dead serious. Like I can appreciate a good lavender or like a darker purple. These are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, the new inks I bought, I've been really, really impressed with the color pattern on them. They've been really vibrant colors, and they actually change after they've sat for a couple days, which it really blows me away. I think this is one of the sets, when I poured it at first and I was kind of just letting it go, when I came back a day or two later, it had noticeably changed, like the pink and the purple. It's like, oh, I don't know if that's good or not, but I like how it turned out. So,
yeah, no, like this is what like with this kind of color, what else can achieve sort of this nebula kind of look?
The big thing to do is you want to kind of layer your pores. So I'll typically do a like resin base, 50, it's equal parts A and B, so hardener and the resin itself. And then I'll add a ton of this liquid sparkle, liquid glitter, and just mix that all up. And the liquid glitter is kind of an opaque milkiness, but when it dries, it will dry out. So it's just adding a little bit of white and trying to get it in there. So like you could layer in a color on the bottom, let it sit, add a little bit of white in the middle of it, and then add your color on top, and then kind of just give it a tiny little swirl, and that kind of helps create those nebulas in there as you go. Sometimes it's just luck too. Like you pour a set, you mix them up, and you hope that... I try not to do my best, not mess with it once I've poured it, but there will be a couple times where I'll pour colors directly into the dice mold, and I'll just stick a toothpick or something in there and swirl the colors around to see if I can get a good mixture and see how it comes out. So,
right. I mean, it definitely, like I thought, my guess was kind of like use like a dropper and it just sort of like splashed within, because I could just let it divert. Like you just what's it called? The not dilute, the disperse. Like you just kind of let it disperse within it and just sort of gives that natural looking star. But that's really cool. Like I was talking to my girlfriend, and she's like, what if you learned how to make dice as your like craft hobby? I go, don't get me started. I can't start doing these things because these like I would love making these designs.
Yeah, it's the funnest part. I've tried to get a couple of my friends. I'm like, I have the molds. Just come over and hang out. Like, I have all the colors. I'll let you make dice. I'll show you how to sand them down. We'll go through all the stuff. And I've had a couple friends take me up on it, and we've made sets of dice. But yeah, it's just cool to have, and it's something I need to get more into. I haven't done it in a little bit. Just life has taken over doing other things. But yeah, it's definitely, I love doing it. I love seeing the color combinations. I actually tried to make some baked bean dice that didn't turn out as well as I wanted to, so I got to go back to the drawing board.
Baked beans?
And see. Yeah, I took a can of baked beans, and I think I should have. I didn't let them drain. I just got to scoop the beans out and put them into like some resin and mixed them up and put them in there. So I got a little bit cloudier than I wanted it to. So I got to go back to the drawing board, but I'm gonna make some baked bean dice that are clear, and I'm gonna be excited for it. So
you weren't just going for like red and white, like red dots or like dark red dots in. You actually are pouring baked beans.
Yep, I bought a can of baked beans. I scooped some out into the resin, mixed it up. I think that was I got to figure out that part. I think I need to dry them off. Maybe even use actual hard beans before they're cooked to get the similar effect. So that's why I'm trying to focus. What's the next step of that? But that's something I like to do with dice. Like I have a friend. I made her. They're a clear set that have moss inside because she's very naturey and woodsy, and so I just went and picked some moss, let it sit, put it into the dice, poured it, made sure I didn't add a whole ton to it to knock it out, and they're clear. They got nice, like everything set pretty well in there. They're not just like clumped around, and it looks really cool. And I want to get more into that kind of the additives into the dice, kind of like there's some that have like eyeballs or skulls or something like that. I think that'd be cool to get better at that. So, all
right, chat. So for 2025, I'm taking restaurant orders. Anybody want a pizza die? You looking for like a Whopper die? Maybe some fried chicken die. Like we can put a chicken nugget in a die. I'm pretty sure that can exist. Like a D100 can fit a chicken nugget, easy peasy.
Yeah. As long as it seals fully, it should be good. Yeah. Like, it's just the resin. Yeah. The issue with the baked bean dice that I found out was that it got to the sides. and it didn't cure all the way. So when I got the dice, and they weren't fully hardened, I could like squeeze out bean juice. I'm like, that's just not. I'm gonna throw these away. And I don't want these around if they're gonna rot. So
yeah.
But it's a science. I'm gonna get to it. Trial and error. I'm gonna mess up, and we're gonna find a way. So.
Yeah, I guess as long as it's preserved properly, like it wouldn't compromise the structure of the actual mold or anything. So
no.
I guess they're built to be in fire, so like, it's supposed to be hot in there. I guess that makes sense. So there you go, chat. That was given away to Hero last week. He is the lucky bastard who got that, and I have to ship that wholeheartedly and be honest about it. This week's die, which is still available until tomorrow. It's the Toxic die. This was, so for those who didn't know, with Chris, I give 6 dice sets, right? Usually there's going to be a Crate for Sick Kids one, or a Sick Kids themed one, or a ProPokeNoob one. This year we went a tiny bit different. I wanted that theme, as well as I gave him 2 of his choice, because this wouldn't be a collaborative marathon that we run on the channel without having everybody involved in their own way. So I gave him 2 of his choice. I gave him 3 specific ones in the Crate for Sick Kids one. So the first one was the Bloodlight Cream, because I don't know the band Red Fang. And the other one was this Toxic set. Now this one, I've really tried to explain to people what it looks like, but seeing it in person, you can now see that you might look at the picture, but what I really want to look at is the green in this. The green in this is absolutely noxious. Like it is, in my opinion, the actual definition of Joker being dunked in a vat of acid.
Yeah, I was very happy with this one. I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't remember the last time I did like a blue and pink kind of always go together. But I'm like, I haven't really messed with like a green or a yellow in a while. So let's do that. Like, let's get funky. Let's throw it out there and see how they turn out. And yeah, I mean, I did kind of a layer of blue, and then I added the green, and I think I did pink on top and kind of swirled it in there again. And they looked okay. Like the first day, I was like, okay, maybe. I think I even sent you a photo. I'm like, these might be another set.
Yeah.
And then as they set and that green kind of got duller, I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. Like, I'm very, very happy with how these guys came out. But again, yeah, it's just kind of figured out the best pour ratios to these dice is really, it's tough because I always usually just do it by a cup. I have a cup. I'll get 3 separate cups. I'll pour the resin in there. Then I'll put the color additive, and I'll just kind of pour them in there until it looks like a good enough. Like maybe it's a third, and then a third. I'm not good at that part. So sometimes I get more blue, sometimes they don't. But this one I was really happy with. I thought, as we kind of, I'm terrible with names. I'm not good at naming dice.
Right.
So I was like, hey, this looks toxic. Like I've made kind of this swampy green set before, and they gave me reminiscence of that guy. So I was like, we're gonna go toxic. I think that fits.
And I'm not an expert on this, but when you're talking about how you let it sit, I can kind of tell, because this particular die compared to the other ones, the blue is a lot more solid. Like the blue definitely looks like it was in there for a long time. And I don't know, like that's just kind of my guess, because like it seems with every die, the blue sort of sat on one side and the green and the yellow rose to the other side, which is perfectly obviously fine. Like I think that's what actually kind of gives it that really cool look to it, where it kind of looks like fumes rising up. So like these are surprisingly very pretty, and with the pink lettering too. Like I guess pink really worked this well. Like again, I don't know color backings. I have to look at it on Google.
I don't either. I just kind of like there's not enough pink in there for my like, so I'll put a little bit more pink on there, and I'll do like, you know what, we're gonna put a nice. I think that green is called like neon green or toxic green. So I was like, I feel like I have to put this on this set. So.
Yeah, no, like if you can see it, chat, like the one it's a fluorescent green for sure. You can't see it. Let me see if I could show this on my camera. Let's use the actual camera here. Oh, green screen. But that's how you can tell, right? Like look how defined it is on the green screen. That's how green it is. So like it looks really cool. Like almost like it would glow in the dark. Almost.
I wish I had. Like I don't have anything like that yet.
Yeah. No, that I would imagine. I don't. No, I guess that would just be material. That wouldn't actually make anything too difficult.
I have some color changing, like heat sensitive additive. So like, I made a set of dice that if you hold it in your hand, really, really long, it will turn from like green to white, which is pretty cool. But it's a lot. Like obviously it's resin, so it's thicker, so you have to get that heat on there. But it's pretty cool nonetheless. Like, yeah, if you like put your finger on the one for a while, then it would turn from a color to a color. So I wanted to mess around with that more, but I was a little turned off by the first time I made the set just because how long it took to get that color change to happen. So.
Right. So hot sauna, pick up hot coals, pick up dye, roll.
Yeah.
At 20.
Or just like
medical.
Yeah, just constantly rub them in your hands until you're ready to roll.
I mean, there are certain times where you're like trying to make decisions, you're just doing the whole like rolling in your hands sort of deal, and
it's true. Yeah.
Hot palms and all that stuff. So yeah, that's the one that's good until tomorrow for donations, and then we'll give it away on Sunday most likely because Saturday I'm at a wedding. And then now this dice set, this is the short or one of the two shorter ones because we're going to be doing basically 3 dice sets next week for the final week of Crate for Sick Kids for us. This one's going to be from Monday to Wednesday, so 23rd to 25th. This is the Dunsparce set. Now, you might be thinking, why wasn't the Dunsparce set the final set? Because we came up with another one on kind of an idea, the theme with it. This is so neat because I thought... So I try to guess how you were going to use the colors because I know that it's yellow, white, and light blue are really tough to put together. So I was like, maybe he's going to do like a yellow and blue base with white lettering. So I'm very happy to see that you're way smarter than me. And you actually, you actually made the yellow and the white come together very well because this lighting is really bad for it. But I'll try and show it in this camera here. Like, it's actually pretty clear. It's pretty clear that you can see it's Dunsparce coloring. With the green screen. God dang it, green screen, whatever. But yeah, how did you figure out how to color this to make it not just kind of like drawing each other out?
So this was the hardest set for me to pour and figure out. Because I wanted to do a yellow layer, and then I wanted to do a thin light blue layer, and then I wanted to do a white layer on top. And so I just couldn't get it to look good. Like I let it sit till it was like tacky and like I'm forcing this thing in there and just nothing looked good. And so I think I took about 2 or 3 sets that I poured that I didn't like when I did this. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's just go over a really clean white and yellow, and then we'll do the light blue and then the kind of the darker blue. I think he has like a tiny bit of a darker blue. I was like, I'll do that as the one, and we'll do the coloring, and the numbers as the light blue to give that effect. And but yeah, I was hoping to have the dice actually have a clear, like, solid line across the light blue, kind of like he has.
Yeah.
Or it has. I don't know if, but yeah, it was. This was by far the hardest set for me to pour, and like, because I was so meticulous about how I wanted it. And it wasn't like I could just be like, yeah, it's good enough. It'll pass. I'm like, no, it has to have that separation on it. I even think I tried to do like a white or a yellow, a light blue, white, light blue, yellow, like kind of like layer it really well. And I couldn't get it with either my patience or my technique just wasn't doing what I wanted it to. So
this didn't cost you too much material, did it?
No. Honestly. Making dice, if you can buy a bottle, 2 bottles of a pack of resin for about $20, and you can get probably like 25, 30 sets of dice out of there if you pour it right. So that part's not at all anything, but yeah. But no, I love this set. I thought it was really cool. I liked how it turned out. I was a little nervous when I sent it to you that it was just like, yeah, this is kind of plain. Like, sorry, this is what I could get, and but I'm glad you liked it because I was really nervous with these. Like, I hope it's enough because it seems kind of just like, yeah, that's what that's what I would expect if I saw a dice like that. So
you know what though, the thing about Dunsparce is the same thing when people complain that the Dunsparce was not a cool enough evolution where it just gained a section, and they're like, that's all you give us Dunsparce fans is an extra section and a bigger drill. I'm like, but that's the whole point of Dunsparce. He's pathetically awesome. Right? He's so simple. He's just a hovering land snake. He's yellow, he's blue, and he's white. He's got the slit eyes, and that's it, right? He's just cool being plain and simple. That's what this is. It's just a plain and simple guy that actually shows all of the colors of it. We're not looking for gold-crested tips and stuff like that. Like this, that's why I liked it. It's like, this actually encapsulates everything about Dunsparce. where it's just, made in Gen 2, the colors are straightforward, it's not trying to be fancy, Dunsparce set. That's why. Like, it works.
Perfect.
It works perfectly.
I really liked, I liked how the set turned out. I liked the inking on it. I thought was really well. I thought the light blue was a perfect complement. The light blue for the ones, or the darker blue for the ones I thought. I was originally trying to figure out if I was going to do white or light blue, and I thought the white would be a little. You already got enough white on there, so let's give it something a little pop. So,
yeah. Did you fade out the colors? Like, did you fade out the blue, or is that just
it's just it's just a color I chose. Okay. I think it's a sky blue or some sort of blue that I've got for painting miniatures that I typically will use for those.
Yeah, it's actually a very pretty blue. Like, it kind of, again, has that marble effect kind of to it. We have 2 more dice sets. These dice sets were made for specifically to be given away as a pairing. That's what I want. Cool. He didn't know. I did this, and I'm just like, I just want to create for Sick Kids set and a green dice set. But I did this as a pairing because I thought it'd be a really cool thing. So what we're doing this year during the final weekend for the marathon, the 27th and 29th, is we're doing a game that Sky has named The Dice is Right, way better than my name. Where basically I'm going to take a giant collection of my dice upstairs, I'm going to put them in a tube, I'm going to roll them, kind of like a jelly bean count contest, and people are going to have to guess what the total roll of the dice is going to be. So there's going to be like 10 D20s, 10 D12s. We're going to put the D100 in there. We're going to have a giant roll of it. We're going to count it on the Sunday. And basically you enter with a $20 donation for 2 dice, which, by the way, each set is 15. So that's a steal if you win this and you get the right guess. So it only made sense that when we're playing a Dice is Right like game and we're having this type of thing going, what do we put with gambling? Crate for Sick Kids. Not really. Don't take that seriously. But we had to have the Crate for Sick Kids set come through. It's a gorgeous blue. I feel like you did something different with this blue this year.
I just used a different resin. I bought a resin. Sorry, not resin. The ink that I've bought has multiple layers of blue. Like it's no longer just like blue. It's like peacock blue and this type of blue and this type of blue. So this one, I took like the peacock blue, and I mixed a little bit of white to kind of even it out. And then I took another type of blue, which I don't remember what it was, and I just left that plain. And then I just did a white, and I just kind of, again, I mixed a darker on the bottom, I put that little bit of layer of white in the middle, and I finish it up top with the lighter blue that I'd mixed up. I just kind of let them, I didn't really mess with them a whole lot. I waited till it was pretty much ready to go, and that way there was a clean enough definition on them. I hope. The white kind of gets lost in there, but I think it still has that kind of cloudy effect to it. I was very, very happy with how they turned out. I love the darker blue on this a lot. Like, the blues that I've gotten in this new color scheme, I've loved. Because I'd always have to make teal myself.
Right.
Like, I have a little notebook of, 6 drops of blue, 6 drops of green, 4 drops of white mixed together, so I could always get that consistent teal. And this one is just, there's already pretty much a teal built in there, so it's been a really cool. I'm happy I bought those and kind of started exploring other types of ink to add in there. But I know it's always tough with this because it's how I've always usually done a white. I think I've always done like a black and blue or a blue and white dice for these. I know, I've tried to remember the ones we've done in the past. So I was like, do I just want to do that again, where I'm going to do like a blue and a white, and then do the blue as the ink on this? But I felt kind of getting all 3 in there would have been nice to get, and then just kind of do. I think it's a white lettering as well to kind of just kind of bring it home and make it look nice.
For those who are trying to remember, the Extra Life dice, they were a little bit of a lighter blue. Crate for Sick Kids uses a darker blue for it. So once we switched over to this, that's why, in case you don't remember, the dice do get a little bit darker with it. But yeah, no, these are spectacular. This is an awesome color blue. I really like how they turned out.
The ink that I bought, I've been really, really happy with the color schemes coming out.
Yeah, it's funny because I keep saying I want to create for Sick Kids set each year, and I'm thinking, like, is there a way to mix this up? I don't want to mix up the branding color, but it just turns out so well that I think if you just had multiple of these, they're just a cool set. Like, it's just a good combination. It's straightforward. It's blue and white and dark blue. Yeah. And Like they're crisp. They're a very crisp and straightforward design with it. So, and the sparkles, always the sparkles.
Yes.
Always
yeah, when I first got the liquid glitter, I was like, I need to be conservative with this. I'm gonna put like 5 drops into each set, and now I'm just like squeezing that bad boy, just like, yeah, that's good enough. Like, for a while, there was hard to get. Like you couldn't get it. Yeah, like, but now it's. I think I forget who makes it, but they've started reproducing it again pretty frequently. So, yeah, so it's like, cool. I'm just gonna go hog wild with this and make them all sparkly as I can.
So yeah, that's gonna be one of the sets given away between 27th and 29th for the Dice is Right. The other one, look at these. You gotta explain how you made this look like solid gold. It is amazing.
Yeah, so I basically last year we did the kind of gunmetal dice, I believe.
Yes.
So I took that same really shiny metallic additive, and then I added a ton of gold mica powder, which is like a dust. Mm-hmm. And I just mixed them up, and I just kept mixing until it didn't really. The issue I've run into the past is that it will get kind of splotchy at points, and you'll see kind of the difference in gold. And I just mixed them for a solid like 5 or 6 minutes until everything looked really clear and clean. I was like, perfect, we're good to go. We're gonna pour these, like just get it done, get it in there, and yeah, it was very, very happy with. They turned out as gold as they were. When I first had them, my friends like, I kind of look like sandstone. I'm like, yeah, but once we get them like nice and cleaned up and polished a little bit, they should kind of pop out a little bit more. The hardest thing for these was figuring out the dice, like the ink scheme. Because I originally was like, well, I'll just do a gold ink on them, and you couldn't read the numbers. Like you could look and see, but I was like, yeah, I think maybe just black would be a safe bet. Like, yeah, so. But yeah, I really wanted to do. I even thought about maybe doing like a silver or metallic ink on there too, or something kind of shinier for the ink. But nothing really stood out or looked good to me. So I just figured, we'll just do a solid black, and we'll just let the dice shine themselves.
Honestly, I think the black and white were an excellent choice because I think it actually highlights how the gold, like how perfect this gold. Like, look at this roll that hero just asked for. Boom! Look at that, a 6. It's true richness. Like it actually is very spectacular how you pulled this off because, like, I thought it was gonna be heavy. Like, I thought you actually gave me a different material. I was gonna ask you, why did you give me a heavier? Like, why did you give me metal dice? But like, they're just so pretty, right? I
would love to do metal dice. I would love to get into that, but I remember doing jewelry making in high school, and I really like that. But I don't know. I think it'd be a lot more stuff to get metal dice figured out, and I'm not ready for that. So.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine that process is more.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot more time, labor intensive.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would sand down a D20 with because these ones, when they come out, there's cleaning around some of the edges. And you'll notice on some of these sets, there are some little, slight marks where I've tried to get them cleaned as best I can. But I'm trying to think of that with, metal. I feel like that would be, screw it up, you'd be done, so.
Or you make it too sharp and suddenly now you got a projectile weapon.
Yeah. Broca just mentioned liquid dice. Those are amazing. I love the liquid dice sets, and I'm absolutely terrified to try to make them, because in order to make them, you basically get a tiny little bubble and fill it up with liquid, and then you set it in your thing and pour around it, and I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but I do want to try to make liquid dice, because I think they're awesome. So
that is a future project that I need to have a lot more money to pay you. Because I'm not making you do those at our current price. But
this don't matter.
This is actually I think you outdid yourself with the green dice.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
They look exciting. Again, camera's not good enough. But if you guys donate for this, I guarantee you, when you're doing the dices right, this feels like a green die. This is to me a definition of a rich die. So if you're a bard, or if you're someone who likes to rob town folk, this is your dice set basically. Done well, of course. Done well. Don't half-ass it and stuff like that. You have to remind me. I tried to look it up and I lost it. You wanted me to advertise something for you. Your podcast?
I mean, if you want to, that's fine.
Yeah,
yeah, we're doing that. So some friends and I do an actual play podcast called the Chaos Engine. We're currently playing a system called Delta Green, which is a mixture between the X-Files and Eldritch Horror, so like Cthulhu Mythos. And we are 2 seasons in, and we're just about to start a whole new mission. And then from there, we're going to be going over into a system called Traveler, which is a sci-fi adventure kind of scenario. So, but yeah, if you check us out, we're on Instagram. I think that's the only social media thing we have. We're terrible with social media, but yeah, it's just we do our best to try to make you feel like you're playing at a table with friends. We have music in the background. We have some sound effects here and there. Nothing too overly done, but our main goal is just to make you feel fun and hanging out with friends and playing. So